I think you've got pride in your town, haven't you? Your town. I remember going to Blackpool Tower and seeing a concert steel. You stick your chest out. That was made in concert, Sydney Harbour Bridge. The steel, I believe, was from.
They used to make a joke, didn't they, about Blackpool Tower? Because if you didn't know that it had stamped on the girders, they used to say, if you get to Blackpool, if you get to Blackpool, have a look from there. You can see the steelworks. They used to go, bugger off, you can't have to go, you can't. And that was it. It was like Stambridge.
Your hometown is your hometown, isn't it? Anything mainly to do with concerting company.
I think the most important part was, for me anyway, was that the girders of Roker Park were made in concert.
All right.
I've been a lifelong Sunderland supporter.
I mentioned earlier session I had the opportunity to go down to the Queen Heart Furnace and work down there, but my wife just didn't want to move out of concert. She loved it that much, and she still does.
I had a good Middlesbrough, Joe. I was saying I could have went to Middlesbrough. One of our foremen, who shall remain nameless, went down, didn't get the job. I went down and got the job as foreman, right? Never took it up, because I had a look around the area, mosque and all that, around that area, and I couldn't afford the bloody. I thought, even on the wages I was going to be with canny wages, I couldn't afford a house down there. Maybe I looked at too expensive an area, but I never went. Thank God.
We did exactly the same.
Did you?
They give us 2 days to let you go down on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you had to give the answer on the Monday morning.
Aye.
We went down the Friday.
But I walked down, it was a hell of a bloody walk away down into the plant and that, Jesus Christ, I don't want to be coming here.
No, the Redcar complex.
Oh, Redcar.
This is the Queen Heart, was a long drive into it.
Yeah, yes.
I think when I started to work with lads from Newcastle and Winlayton and that kind of area, I think they classed us as hillbillies up here, don't they? And always say,
Oh, you snowed in all the time.
I snowed in all the time, and this colleague of mine, he used to take the mic. He used to say, I went to concert once, and he said the butcher used to have a little paintbrush. I was, a paintbrush. He says that was to sweep off the red dust off the pies in the shop window, because that's when it was belching out. That was his joke.
I think a lot of people are misled by concert. As I say, you've got the steelworks wrapped around the hill, and it's not on the top; it's wrapped around it. And everybody, the rest of the country, it's that them dark satanic mills. And you spit 2 yards, and you're out down the River Durham, and you're over the moors. I mean, Durham's that way, fantastic city, Durham, I think they just thought we're living in a midden, surrounded by filth. And I think you get a pleasant surprise when they come up. That's when the company was there, mind.
My husband's exception, when he used to live in near Darlington, and if he came up to concert up there 68, he would come through up the Grove Bank and with all the pipes and everything. Yeah. And when I met him, he said, "Oh, concert." But then he absolutely loves living here. He's taught at Blackfine School. He was born in Yorkshire, Yorkshire Dales, but he absolutely loves living here. We're very, very lucky.
Earlier though, when you were coming back from anywhere, the lakes or anywhere, you could see the bloody works from miles away, couldn't you?
When you go down the Cheviot, from Scotland, you could see the plume of
you could see the flares shooting up and
it was, it was named, isn't it?
caught away heads up as you're coming back.
Maybe you couldn't see it from Blackpool Tower, but you could see the smoke everywhere else.
The Germans missed it every time they come over to bomb it.
Killed the cows in the field out the back.
You've come from your holidays back from Blackpool or somewhere like that. The first thing you should look for was the red dust.
Yeah. The thing is, with it being concert, that's all that was there. I mean, Teesside, Riverside, you got industry right along the rivers. Normally when you get a big industry, you normally get a lot around it as well. Concert had and the works, and that was it. Ransom and Miles was the next big place, but that was clean compared to the so-called dirty industry.
I must admit, driving from Bladen, as we did this morning, Andrew would say, you forget till I wasn't driving today, he was driving, you're looking up, and how rural it is. It's an obvious thing to say it, but when there's been periods in my life where I have spent a bit of time up here, but just more recently, this last sort of 6 weeks, I've been up here more often than I have been for some time, and you forget just exactly what you're saying. You start coming up, and it's like,
but people did have that woolly back idea, and it was really grim and dark satanic mills and all that. I had a mate from Ashington, not noted for its aesthetic quality. One would have thought, you know what I mean? But he came up and we were driving along the road at Shotley there, with all the trees and the sun, and people were doing, he'd go, Jesus, it's gorgeous, this place. And he'd obviously had this conception what it was going to be like, you know.
Yeah.
But when you were younger, Paddy, you've just got to go back to Dale Street, all the little streets, West Row, Bottle Bank, all the Ridley Street, all those streets around there, they were very Victorian, very one up, one down, massive overcrowding, dry middens, everything I can remember all the time, and it was terrible. They have all been removed now, and good quality housing has replaced them. But at one stage it was a bit of a
even around the bus station, Joe, all them roads there. You know what I mean? Weathers, probably most people don't say it like, but what's the pub called? Weatherspoons. It's Spoons. Weatherspoons is actually called, you know, its name's the Company Row. And it used to be them Company Row houses that, you know, I remember them going to school because I went to St. Patrick's concert. And they used to have them rows of houses, like the Hessers and all them used to live in.
That's what happened in the shipyard. Yeah, Jerry built houses, poorly built houses, as near as possible to the works. And, you know, that was, I lived in the same thing, you know, 2 up, 2 down, and we had 2 rooms of 4 people, and the water was...
1 up, 1 down.
1 away. Yeah.
And my mum, dad, and 5 of us.
Yeah.
That's
1 up, 1 down.
I mean, Joe was just on about there, the biddings they were saying. I mean, I remember that. I remember going to the shop to buy a mantle. Remember the mantles?
Oh, aye.
The gas mantle. That was in the 50s, that. You know, gas mantle. If I said that to my kids,
Honest to God, I was buying gas mantles in let's get this right, 1973 still, from that little shop that used to be in Black Hill, Graham's, and then I went up to a concert. And it was an all-gas house. And I was sitting in the cabin at times, and I had a guy called Jack the Pipe, I can't remember his surname now, he was an electrician's mate. And I was complaining, I was reading as usual, like, and there was a, you know, electric light, the strobe light, and it was giving that effect, and I was complaining about being bandy light. And he goes, you don't know you're born, son, you know. You don't know you're born, son. You know, we used to have gas lights. I was living in an all-gas house. I had a 12-volt battery with a 12-inch deck of TV off on it, you know. It was an all-gas light house, you know, with a hole in the bedroom roof. Like, it was cannon with cartons. I was even there was 2 of them at the bottom of the new road. And because I had to do a thing for the NHS, and I brought all this up, like, about gas at the house, and they're all looking at me thinking, I would say about 90, you know. And that was 1973, and I used to buy the gas mantles. Used to come in drunk and have a go at the gas mantles, you know. You had to buy some more the next day, like. But I brought the rent in for that NHS thing, as well as that 1980 Observer I showed you, which had the picture of the company straight up from where I lived in Roger Street. And I brought the rent book, and I was saying to them, like, when I doing the thing off the stage, and I went, and the rent was £1.29, and they went, Jesus Christ, you know, I'm going like all these young kids like the NHS now. And then I went, a month, which it was. I had a rent book, £1.29 a month from Cannon McCartan. Amazing, man.